TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom and good evening. This is TV7 Israel News broadcast to you from Jerusalem, and in today's top stories. Despite international threats aimed at deterring Israel from asserting its sovereignty over parts of the West Bank, Israeli Premier Benjamin Netanyahu vows not to miss the historic opportunity. In light of Israel's aspired annexation, a growing number of attempted terror attacks is reportedly plaguing the West Bank. Libya's Turkish-backed Government of National Accord under the leadership of Fayez al-Sarraj managed to make several strategic gains at the expense of the Russian and Egyptian-backed Libyan National Army under the leadership of Khalifa Haftar. An Arab Islamist attempted to conduct a stabbing attack in the southeastern Jerusalem neighborhood of Jabal Mukaber. According to the Israeli police spokesperson's unit, the suspect rushed toward an Israeli border police force with a knife in hand. The Israeli officers immediately responded by opening fire toward the attacker, who was later identified as an Israeli Arab resident of East Jerusalem. While thankfully none of the Israeli officers sustained injuries, the attacking suspect was diagnosed in critical condition.
The Israeli National Police responded to a terrorist attack that took place in the area of Jabal Mukaber, where one Israeli Arab attempted to stab a border police officer. The response was quick, and after seeing the knife, the terrorist was shot and taken to hospital in serious condition. Since the attack itself, heightened security has continued inside Jerusalem in order to prevent any further terrorist attacks from taking place.
It is important to know that this was one of several attempted terror attacks against Israeli security forces in the past 48 hours. Among others, the IDF spokesperson's unit confirmed to TV7 that two unknown assailants attempted to stab IDF troops who operated in an area adjacent to the Israeli West Bank settlement of Amichai, which is situated east of the city of Ramallah. The Israeli military further informed TV7 that the troops opened fire toward the attackers, who managed to flee the scene. And while thankfully no injuries were reported among the IDF troops, TV7 was not able to verify the condition of the unknown assailants. The reported attacks come at a time of heightened tensions after the Palestinian leadership in Ramallah announced that it regards itself absolved of all signed agreements and understandings with both the United States and Israel. According to Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Shtayyeh, who heads Ramallah's technocratic government, which is subordinate to the Palestine Liberation Organization chairman Mahmoud Abbas, the decision to absolve all agreements with Israel was made in response to Israel's declared aspiration of asserting its sovereignty over significant parts of the West Bank, which includes the Jordan Valley and the biblical districts of Judea and Samaria. In remarks the Palestinian premier made at an emergency cabinet meeting last week, Shtayyeh stressed, quote, "The announcement of the annexation of Palestinian lands and the imposition of Israeli sovereignty over the settlements is a violation of our signed agreements with Israel, a violation of international law and international legitimacy, and a threat to regional and international security. It reflects the agenda of the government coalition in Israel, which systematically works to destroy the establishment of the State of Palestine in addition to the siege on the Gaza Strip, the isolation and annexation of occupied Jerusalem, and the use of Area C as a strategic reservoir to expand its settlements." The Palestinian leader went on to praise a global rejection to the so-called American-formulated deal of the century. Nevertheless, at this juncture in time, Premier Shtayyeh insisted that denouncement and condemnation statements are not enough. Instead, the Palestinian leader stressed, quote, "We want the world to stand for the moment of truth by recognizing the state of Palestine." In response to the Palestinian call for action, several European nations are currently formulating measures to deter the prospects of Israeli annexation. As was reported on TV7 last night, French Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian revealed that in coordination with other European capitals, Paris is working to advance a joint preventative action. If Europe fails to prevent Israeli annexation, however, the top French diplomat asserted that the European reprisal would soon follow. Nevertheless, in defiance of international condemnations, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu highlighted in a faction meeting of his ruling Likud party that the Jewish state will not miss the historic opportunity of asserting Jerusalem's sovereignty over the significant parts of the Jewish ancestral homeland.
יש כאן הזדמנות היסטורית שלא הייתה מאז 1948, להחיל ריבונות באופן מושכל כצעד מדיני וצעד ריבוני של מדינת ישראל ביהודה ושומרון. זאת הזדמנות גדולה ואנחנו לא ניתן לה לחלוף.
In accordance with the coalition agreement of Israel's National Unity Government, discussions vis-a-vis Israeli annexation will commence on July 1st. A move senior Israeli officials underscored to TV7 will be conducted in close coordination with the Trump administration. Turning now to Libya, where Turkish-backed forces belonging to Libya's UN-recognized Government of National Accord in Tripoli, under the leadership of Fayez al-Sarraj, have reportedly managed to make several strategic gains at the expense of the Russian and Egyptian-backed Libyan National Army under the leadership of Khalifa Haftar. While the Libyan National Army, which has been embroiled in a year-long offensive with the declared purpose of ousting the Government of National Accord on grounds of illegitimacy and corruption, Haftar's forces have over the course of the past week lost a number of strategic territories that have consequently forced a limited retreat. The reason for the sudden shift comes after Turkey managed to bolster al-Sarraj's qualitative military edge by delivering advanced drones to the forces of the Government of National Accord, despite a European arms embargo that is being enforced as part of a maritime operation titled IRNI, which deploys European vessels and unmanned aerial vehicles to conduct patrols along Libya's Mediterranean coastline. In an apparent self-congratulatory pat on the back, Turkey released footage from its operational drones and declared itself the root cause for altering the military balance in the war-torn country.
Türk Silahlı Kuvvetleri olarak arkadaşlarım, Libyalı dostlarımızla, kardeşlerimizle yaptığımız mutabakatlar çerçevesinde oradaki kardeşlerimize askeri eğitim ve işbirliği ve onlara askeri konularda danışmanlık yapmak üzere oradaki arkadaşlarımızla büyük bir gayret gösteriyorlar. Onlarla beraber çalışıyorlar. Bütün işte bugünkü basında da çok yoğun bir şekilde yer aldığı gibi çok ciddi şekilde orada dengelere etki etti arkadaşlarımızın bilgisi, görgüsü, tecrübesi oradaki Libyalı kardeşlerimize aktarmak suretiyle.
It is important to explain that Turkey's determined support for Libya's Government of National Accord comes after it signed a maritime boundary treaty in order to establish an exclusive economic zone, or EEZ, that in effect carves a significant part of the Mediterranean Sea between the two nations, who declare legal exclusivity on all offshore natural resources. The Turkish-initiated move comes in defiance of Cyprus and Greece, both of which dismiss the accord as illegal and geographically absurd, as they too hold a legal claim to the referred-to territory. Furthermore, if Turkey and Libya manage to control the referred-to zone, it may hinder the process of establishing the Israeli, Cypriot, and Greek gas pipeline, which will have direct financial implications for Israel, Europe, and the United States. Thank you for watching us. As part of TV7's Global Prayer Initiative, I would like to encourage you today to join myself and the team here in Jerusalem to pray for the salvation and peace of the United Arab Emirates, alongside our ongoing prayers, of course, for the peace of Jerusalem, the peace and salvation of Israel, as well as for all those who were impacted by the corona contagion worldwide. Furthermore, I would like to personally thank all of our partners, as your continued support, both by finance as well as by prayers, is the reason TV7 Israel News is made possible. I'm Jonathan Hassan. Have an Erev Tov, and we will see you again tomorrow at the same time.